The city pulsed with life, neon lights flickering like a heartbeat as the night stretched on. At the center of it all was Club Zenith, the epitome of exclusivity, a sleek, high-end club known for hosting the city's most influential and powerful figures. Celebrities, moguls, and even royalty were seen here. It was the type of place where a casual glance at your wristwatch could reveal more wealth than most people would see in a lifetime. Inside, the atmosphere was electric, with smooth jazz and pulsating beats blending together in the background. Troy, the club's head bouncer, had seen it all. Tall and imposing with arms like tree trunks, his job was more than just keeping the peace, it was about maintaining the club's reputation. If someone didn't belong, they didn't get in. Simple as that. Over the years, he had become a figure that even the most entitled patrons respected. No one got through without his say-so. That night, the guest list was stacked. The usual crowd of wealthy tech giants, actors, and models filtered in. The place was packed with velvet ropes keeping the uninvited at bay. Troy was stationed at the front, his eagle-eyed gaze scanning the crowd for anyone who might try to sneak in. At around midnight, a man walked up to the velvet rope, looking out of place amidst the glamour of the evening. He was wearing worn-out jeans, a faded black blazer, and scuffed boots, a far cry from the expensive tailored suits and designer dresses that were the norm at Zenith. His hair was long, slightly messy, and his face was covered with a rugged, unkempt beard. He wasn't carrying the aura of a typical VIP. He looked like he had just stumbled off a movie set, or worse, like he didn't belong at all. Troy's instinct kicked in. He crossed his arms, squinting at the man. "Sorry, man. VIP only. Not on the list." The man gave him a patient, almost tired smile. "I get it. But I'm here to meet some friends. You sure you can't check for me?" Troy, annoyed by the persistent request, stood firm. "I don't care who you know. If you're not on the list, you don't get in." The man didn't argue. Instead, he just nodded, his demeanor calm. "No problem. I'll be going then." Troy watched him walk away, but as he did, the man didn't seem to have the usual sense of urgency that most people did when they were turned away from Zenith. Instead, he moved like someone who wasn't used to being denied entry, yet somehow wasn't bothered by it either. That should have been Troy's first clue. But it wasn't. Troy was already looking at the next batch of guests coming through the door. He'd just done his job, no need to second-guess it. As he turned to let a group of well-dressed people inside, he felt a hand tap him on the shoulder. It was Damian Cross, the owner of the club. His usually confident and smooth demeanor was replaced by a pale, shocked expression. "Troy, what the hell did you just do?" Damian hissed, his voice low but urgent. Troy's brow furrowed. "What are you talking about? Some guy tried to sneak in. I told him the rules." That was Keanu Reeves. Damian's words hit Troy like a freight train. Troy's heart stopped. His mouth went dry. Keanu Reeves? The man who had been the face of Hollywood kindness and humility for decades. The actor known for his love of motorcycles, his down-to-earth nature, and his belief in giving back. The same Keanu Reeves who had done more for charity than most billionaires combined? Troy's mind scrambled. No, it couldn't have been. Keanu was a legend. Everyone knew who he was. Damian's voice broke through his thoughts. "You let him walk away, Troy. The most famous man in Hollywood, and you let him walk away like some random guy off the street." The realization hit Troy like a punch to the gut. He spun around, eyes scanning the street. Keanu was already at the curb, his back to the club, casually reaching for a cab. It was too late. "Keanu! Wait!" Troy shouted, his voice full of panic. He sprinted toward the curb, his footsteps heavy in the silent night. Keanu didn't turn immediately. Instead, he gave a slow, deliberate glance over his shoulder, his expression calm and unreadable. Troy was breathless by the time he reached him. "Mr. Reeves. I'm so sorry. I didn't recognize you. Please, come back inside. I made a huge mistake." Keanu studied him for a moment, his eyes soft yet unbothered. A faint smile tugged at the corner of his lips. "No worries, man. It happens." His tone was quiet, understanding even, like this sort of thing was just part of his daily routine. "But," Troy started, his voice faltering. "I really didn't mean to." Keanu shook his head. "It's all right. You have a job to do." His smile didn't fade. "I've been turned away before. Don't worry about it." With that, Keanu turned and got into the cab, the door closing softly behind him. Troy stood there, frozen, watching the vehicle pull away into the night. By morning, the internet exploded with the story. Keanu Reeves turned away from an exclusive club in LA. The headline itself was a shock. Keanu, always seen as a figure of grace and humility, being treated like any other unwanted guest at a Velvet Rope nightclub? The memes started rolling in. One famous image of Keanu sitting on a park bench with a sign reading, "I was denied at Club Zenith," went viral. Tweets from celebrities started pouring in. "Keanu's the last person who should be treated like that. What a joke. If you're not letting Keanu Reeves in, you're doing it wrong. Sorry, Troy. You might be strong, but that was a rookie move." By the time the day ended, the world had sided with Keanu. Club Zenith was no longer the hot spot it had been the night before. Patrons, many of whom had been regulars, now boycotted the club. The media didn't just roast Troy, they tore apart the whole establishment. And Troy? He was fired. His career as a bouncer was over in an instant. His colleagues, some of whom had been in the business longer than him, shook their heads in disbelief. They had all seen it, the one mistake that cost everything. But here's the kicker: Keanu, true to his nature, never made a fuss. He never publicly mentioned the incident. But those who knew him best understood. The actor didn't need to, his actions spoke louder than any statement could. Keanu had let the world see how something as trivial as a velvet rope should never stand in the way of kindness or humility. And for Troy? The lesson was painfully clear: even the biggest mistakes can't be fixed with regret. Only actions in the future can shape your reputation.